put where we're starting in context. Orestes says, at the end of 681, around 377 or so, I take that back, 379, Zeus, force up from the earth destruction, late but true to the mark, to the reckless heart, the killing hand, for parents of revenge be done. Notice what he's saying there, late but true to the mark. When should revenge be achieved, if one's going to achieve it? Or vengeance? Quickly. Immediately. How long has Agamemnon been dead? And we're not told specifically, but the idea is some years go by between what happens in the Agamemnon and what happens here. And he's calling on Zeus to do what? To force up from the earth destruction. That is, to bring the payment for Agamemnon's blood being shed out of the earth for the revenge. Okay? And the leader says, at the top of the next page, the leader says, in the ripping cries of triumph, mine to sing, when the man is stabbed, the woman dies. Okay, the leader is kind of egging on, encouraging Orestes, saying, and I will sing songs of triumph when Aeschylus is dead and Clytemnestra is stabbed. Why? Why hide what's deep inside me? Notice the leader is saying, this is the right thing to do. Black wings beating, storming the spirit's prow, hurricanes slashing hatred. The hatreds for both Aeschylus and Clytemnestra. Electra, both fists at once, come down, come down. Zeus, both fists of Zeus, come down. Crush their skulls. Kill, kill. Now give the land some faith, I beg you. This is 390 and following. From these ancient wrongs, bring forth our right. The ancient wrongs aren't just Clytemnestra and Aeschylus having killed Agamemnon. We're going we're talking way back at the beginning of the family troubles. Like with Tantalus. Hear me, earth, and all you lords of death. Chorus, it is the law. It's not a written law. It's an unwritten law. Vengeance for the killers of one's family. When the blood of slaughter wets the ground, it wants, that is, it desires, it needs more blood. In other words, blood feeds blood. Slaughter cries for the fury of those long dead to bring destruction on destruction, churning in its wake. Now, the chorus is telling us what will come as a result of this destruction. If Orestes and Electra get their vengeance on Clytemnestra, what will happen as a result of that? Yeah, that vengeance will then be applied to them. The only problem is Clytemnestra doesn't have anybody else to avenge her death. So who is she going to appeal to? The Furies themselves. Okay? Which in one sense is a lot better than appealing to some human agent. Because deathless, they don't have anything to stop them. They don't have, nothing's going to quote unquote change their minds like can happen with humans. Okay? Orestes, sweet earth, how long? That is, how long must we wait before Agamemnon is avenged? Great lords of death, look on, you mighty curses of the dead. Talks about the curses like they're personified. Look on, the last of Atreus' children. Hear the remnant. God, where to turn? He's not saying God like we use God, merely as an expletive. He's saying, God, where do I go? To whom do I turn for aid, for help? Okay. The leader mentions hope, and Electra says, what hope? 409. What hope? What force to summon? What can help? Who is going to give us aid in this? What but the pain we suffer bred by her? The only hope is to remove her, to get rid of Clytemnestra. And then she goes on, top of the next page, 417 or so. Reckless, brutal mother. Oh, dear God. The brutal, cruel cortege, the warlord stripped of his honor guard and stripped of mourning rites, you dared entomb your lord unwept, unsung. You buried Agamemnon without any funeral rites. That's why they are the libation bearers. They're pouring out the proper and appropriate prayers and rites. Shame for all the world, you mean. Dear God, my father degraded so. Oh, she'll pay. She'll pay by the gods in these bare hands. The gods demand it, and he says what? They won't do it themselves. These hands will do it. Just let me take her life and die. He's implying his own death there, not hers. Because what kind of life will Orestes have after he kills his mother? What does he know that opens up or that invites? Yeah. Okay. So skip several lines. Bottom of that page, 448 or so. Orestes says, now force clashed with force, right with right. I think he's saying there, he will meet force with force. What force is he going to meet? Well, Clytemnestra said she was in the right for killing Agamemnon. Why? He killed their daughter. Her daughter's blood, their daughter's blood, cried out for vengeance. Okay? She exacted vengeance. Now he's called to exact vengeance on her. He's saying, I'm going to meet force with force. I'm going to meet right, her right to avenge her daughter, with my right to avenge my father. See, what's the problem with this system? It's cyclical. It never changes. Okay? Dear gods, be just. Win back our rights. But how does she know what justice is? When Clytemnestra is appealing to justice, and now they're appealing to justice. The leader in chorus, the flesh crawls to hear them pray. The hour of doom has waited long. Okay, I don't think the them is necessarily Orestes and Electra. I think the them is probably Clytemnestra and Aeschylus. The hour of doom has waited long. Pray for it once, and oh my God, it comes. The torment bred in the race. Okay, this is bred in the race here has two referents. One referent is the immediate race, which is what? The line of Atreus. Okay. Or you could probably go back to the line of Tantalus. What is the other the race? The human race. This is all of us. The torment bred in the race. The pain. The grinding scream of death and the stroke that hits the vein. The hemorrhage none can stanch. The grief, the curse, no man can bear. Now, I don't think all those subsequent lines are necessarily referring to this. They're talking about the pain of death. The fact that we all die, we know that we all die. Okay? And in the shadow that holds over us. But there is a cure in the house. Now, this is going back to the first one. There is a cure in the house and not outside it, no. Not from others, but from them. Who can solve the cure of the torment bred in this race? Who can get the vengeance? Only somebody in this race. Okay? Well, who's left of this line? Orestes and Electra. Not from others, but from them, their bloody strife. We sing to you, dark gods beneath the earth. Why are these gods dark? They're hidden. They don't clearly reveal their wills to humans. Now hear you, blissful powers underground. Answer the call, send help. Bless the children, give them triumph now. And if you're familiar with the Harry Potter stories, these are the lines from this play that J.K. Rowling uses as an epigraph to the 7th book in the Harry Potter novels. Okay? So what's the leader in the chorus calling for there? You blissful powers underground. Do what? Answer these prayers. Send help. Bless the children. Give them triumph. Bless the children for what? To get vengeance on Clytemnestra and Aeschylus. Give them triumph. Enable them to kill. In other words, their mother and her lover. Okay? They all withdraw. Electra and Orestes come to the altar. Notice all these things, all these speeches are being said at the altar. Okay? The altar just simply representing the gods. Father, king, no royal death you died. Give me the power now to rule our house. Make me king. I need you too, says Electra. Help me kill her lover, then go free. Now, Electra's saying, let's get them killed, and then we can go on with our lives. Orestes is kind of implied, suggested, let's get them killed, and then we can die. Because what happens if they are killed, the torment bred in the race is brought to bear, they are killed, and then Orestes and Electra die.
And it's all over.
The curse is what? Made void. The curse is relieved. Of course, there's nobody in the family to go on. Earth, bring father up to watch me fight. O Persephone, queen of the land of the dead, give us power. Lovely, gorgeous power. Send us justice, Orestes says, 484. Fight for all you love, or help us pin them grip for grip. Help us pin them grip for grip is let us do to them exactly what they did to you. How many times was Agamemnon stabbed? 3. They threw you, don't you long to throw them down in turn? He's kind of appealing to his father here. Dad, help us. Rile up the gods. Okay? The leader, the voices of children, salvation to the dead. In other words, this will bring peace to Agamemnon. Okay? Extrapolate or stepping outside the boundaries of this poetic construct, step into the Odyssey for a moment. Where is Agamemnon throughout the Odyssey? Dead. He's in Hades. Okay? What kind of peace will Orestes' killing of his mother bring to Agamemnon? Yeah, I'll take that back. Because when Odysseus meets Agamemnon, what's already happened? Orestes has already avenged his father. Okay? Because he's told by Menelaus and the others, you know what happened to your father, right? And you know what happened to Agamemnon, right? You know what Orestes did, kind of implying, come on, Telemachus, step up to the plate. You know, it's your time to avenge your father's loss. Okay? Back down to the leader. 499 or so. Now for action. Now you're set on action. Put your stars to proof. In other words, we've been talking about it for quite a long time. Do it. One thing first, Orestes says. Why did she send libations? She had a nightmare. Okay, but Orestes asked that question. Why did she send libations? What possessed her so late to salve a wound past healing? Again, he's implying pretty good passage of time. Years have gone by. Okay? To the unforgiving dead, she sends this sop, this, who am I to appreciate her gifts? They fall short. Okay, so the leader says, I was there. She had bad dreams. Some terror came groping through the night. It shook her. And she sent these cups, unholy woman. She dreamed she bore a snake. Come to the point. She swaddled it like a baby, laid it to rest. And what did the little monster want? She gave it her breast to suck. She was dreaming. Didn't it tear her nipple? Blood curdled the milk with each sharp tug. No empty dream, the vision of a man. He's saying, I'm going to be that snake. No, I pray to the earth and Father's grave to bring that dream to life in me. In other words, let it be a prophecy. I'll play the seer. If the serpent came from the same place as I and slept in the bands that swaddled me, and its jaws spread wide for the breast that nursed me into life, and clot stained the milk, mother's milk, and she cried in fear and anger, so be it. As she bred this sign, this violent prodigy, so she dies by violence. I turn serpent. So the vision says. Plan is simple. My sister goes inside. I'd have her keep the bond with me a secret. That is, she's not going to let out what I'm going to do. They killed an honored man by cunning, so they're going to die by cunning, caught in the same noose. And I, like a stranger, equipped for all events, go to the outer gates with this man here, Pylades, his friend. The house's friend in arms. And we'll speak Parnassian and try for the native tones of Delphi. In other words, we'll put on a feigned accent so that people won't realize who we are. Because bear in mind, who has seen them? Only the chorus. Nobody else has seen them. Nobody else knows Orestes is back in town. Now, say none at the doors will give us a royal welcome. After all, the house is ridden by a curse. In other words, if they're not given a royal welcome, then what is the house guilty of? Lack of hospitality. Well, then we'll wait till a passerby will stop and puzzle and make insinuations. Aeschylus shuts his door on the man who needs him. And again, the law of hospitality says if you shut your door on the stranger, you're shutting your door on the gods. Why, I wonder? Does he know? That is, does Aeschylus know that a stranger is going to come and kill him? Is he home? But once through the gates, across the threshold, once I find that man on my father's throne, or returning late to meet me face to face, he says, don't worry, I'll kill him. I drop him dead, a thrust of the sword, and twist. Our fury, never at once for blood. Our fury kind of implies we have a fury, dedicated just to our own family. And it's never thirsty. His fury, she drinks unmissed. That is Aeschylus. Our third libation poured to saving Zeus. Okay? So then the chorus has a really long speech, which I'm going to leave, except for the very last stanza, about 6:28 or so. The anvil of justice stands fast, and fate beats out her sword. Tempered for glory, a child will wipe clean the inveterate stain of blood shed long ago. Is that long ago his father's? Or is it going all the way back to this? Or is it going all the way back to Tantalus? That is Orestes' job ultimately to wipe clean the slate of the family? Fury brings him home at last, the brooding mother Fury. Okay? So, Orestes goes through the ruse he said he would. Pretends to be a stranger, bangs on the gates. Clytemnestra comes out. 6:49. Strangers, please. Tell me what you would like and it is yours. We've all you might expect in a house like ours. We have warm baths, we have beds to charm away your pains, and the eyes of justice look on all we do. She's saying, notice, we're doing everything required by the gods. We're giving shelter, comfort. I'm a stranger from Daulis, close to Delphi. I just set out, etc., etc. And he says, top of the next page, 663 or so. Remember to tell the parents he is dead, Orestes. That is the messenger he had seen, he says in his travels. Promise me, please, it will not slip your mind. Then whatever people want to bring him home or bury him here, an alien, all outcast here forever, won't you ferry back their wishes? So I'm here to tell you, your son is dead. Do you want the body or do you want them to take care of him where he is? I only tell you what I heard. And am I speaking now with guardians, kinsmen who will care? It's hard to say, but a parent ought to know. What's he mean by the parent ought to know? Well, look at your little footnote. 3 possible meanings. Shouldn't a mother know her son? 1. It's only right that this tragic message be delivered to a parent, not a distant kinsman or guardian. Or, any mother who killed her son's father should be told what has happened to the son she exiled so that she could commit her crimes. Notice the third one's kind of like in your face, you know. Notice that hesitance. Your words, you storm us. Meaning, they come unprepared. Raze us to the roots. Raze means to knock over, to destroy, to take down. You curse of the house so hard to wrestle down. She's saying it just keeps on going. This curse will never end. How you range targets at peace miles away. Now, did she send Orestes away from the house so that he would be saved by the curse? No, she sent him away so that she could rule. Okay. Here she's kind of implying, oh, but he was away, he was safe, he was at peace, and yet the curse followed him wherever he went. And he was trained so well, we'd been so careful, kept his footsteps clear of the quicksand of death. Just now, the hope of the hall, she's kind of implying the curse is, it's geographically located. And if we get him out of this geographic area, he'll be safe. It's not, though, right? The curse is genetic, almost. Right? Orestes. Well, if only I were with hosts as fortunate as you, if only I could be known for better news and welcomed like a brother. Okay, she says, you're welcome in these halls. She tells Electra, escort him in, skip a few pages, and go on to 694. The nurse on 693 talked about nursing Orestes and such. And the leader says she tells him to come. Prepared, how else? The nurse asks. I don't see. Leader, with all his men, or all alone? Nurse, she says to bring his bodyguard, his cutthroats, that is, Aeschylus. No, not now. Not if you hate our master. Tell him to come alone. Okay? So the leader is saying, no, don't tell Aeschylus what Clytemnestra told you to do. That is, don't tell Aeschylus to come with all of his bodyguards. Instead, tell him to come alone. Nothing for him to fear then when he hears. Have him come quickly, too, rejoicing all the way. The teller sets the crooked message straight. What, you're glad for the news that's come? What's the news? Orestes is dead. Why not? If Zeus will turn the evil wind to good. Why not? Maybe Zeus can turn this bad news to profit. But how? Orestes, the hope of the house, is gone. Not yet. It's a poor seer who'd say so. Seer, 2 meanings. Prophet. And you've got pretty bad eyesight, if you actually think that's true. You're saying something I don't know? Go in with your message, do as you're told. May the gods take care of cares that come from them. Nice little pun on words there. May the gods take care of cares. What are the cares that come from the gods? The torment bred in the race, the curse throughout the family. Oh, bend to my prayer, Father Zeus, the chorus prays. Lord of the gods astride the sky, grant them all good fortune. The lords of the house strain to see strict discipline return. Our cry is the cry of justice, etc. So they cry, the chorus cries out and says, give Orestes power. 8:16. When she cries, son, the chorus says, the chorus is kind of walking us through this action. And so when she cries out, son, cry out, my father's son. In other words, I am the son of Agamemnon. Go through with the murder, innocent at last. Notice the words there the translator uses. Murder, innocent. Can you ever be innocent of murder? No, not by its very definition. You can be innocent of homicide. Okay? You can be, quote unquote, innocent of killing. Innocent in the sense it was unintended. Same thing with homicide. Murder is always what? Yeah, it's always intentional. It's always planned. It's always purposeful. Raise up the heart of Perseus in your breast and for all you love under earth. Notice, by bringing up Perseus, what is the speaker suggesting about Clytemnestra? She's like Medusa, man. She'll turn you to stone if you look at her, not literally. In other words, she'll freeze your arms. You won't be able to act. So be like Perseus. The butcher comes. Next page, 823 or so. Wipe out death with death. Clytemnestra is death. Kill death. Okay? Aegisthus. He comes in. Yes, I have my summons. No joy in the telling, though. Orestes dead. Saddle a house with a bloody thing like that, it might just collapse. It's still raw from the last murders, galled and raw. That is, the house is still raw, galled from the last murders. But how to take the story? In other words, is it true? He asked the chorus, do you know? It hurt a little. Where was he when he died? Or is he dazed with rumor? That is, the person who came, the visitor, is he telling us the truth? Okay, and I think Aegisthus goes through the doors. And as he goes through the doors, Orestes is already in there, and the chorus says, up, come on, up, like a young god, Orestes, wrestle, let it be to win. And we hear a scream. Listen, what's happening in the house? Back till the work is over. Stand back. They'll count us clean of the dreadful business. That is, step away from the palace so that we aren't accused. Servant comes out. The master's dead. Aegisthus says no more. Cries out, where are you, Clytemnestra? The leader, her head is ripe for lopping on the block. She's next. Justice wields the axe. She comes out. What? And he essentially says, what the hell is going on? What now? Why this shouting? The dead are killing the living. Orestes is supposed to be dead. Notice the servant recognizes Orestes. A riddle. I kind of like riddles. Win all or lose all, we have come to this, the crisis of our lives, she says. The doors open, and there's Orestes, holding the sword, dripping with blood. And there's Aegisthus' body. It's you I want. This one's had enough. He's dead enough. Gone, my violent one, that is Aegisthus. You love your man, then lie in the same grave. You can never be unfaithful to the dead. And he pulls her towards Aegisthus. Wait, son, no feeling for this, my child? That is, you have no mercy, no emotion for having killed the breast you held, drowsing away the hours, soft gums, tugging the milk that made you grow. And he stops. What was he warned? What did the leader say? Be like Perseus. Avert your eyes and... What will I do, Pylades? I dread to kill my mother. He knows what that means. You don't kill your parents. Kind of, period. You get somebody else to do it. Get Pylades to do it. Pylades, what of the future? If you don't do it, what's the future going to be? What of the prophet god Apollo, the Delphic voice, the faith and oaths we swear? Why does Pylades bring up Apollo? Apollo told him to do this. Okay? Make all mankind your enemy, not the gods. Why? Why make mankind your enemy?
They're just mortal.
Yeah. What does Christ say? Fear the one who can kill your soul, not someone here. Okay? You don't want to fear man the same way you fear the gods, because what can the gods do? Well, you die, you go to Hades. There they can torture you. And you've got Tantalus. You got the story of Tantalus. Okay? That's a pretty good example of somebody who's going to be tortured all his life. Or, another example, some of the great, myths, Sisyphus. How is Sisyphus tortured? Is Sisyphus tortured for all eternity? Anybody know what he has to do? Yeah, pushes the rock all the way up the hill. He gets almost to the plateau on top of the hill, and the rock rolls back. And he's condemned to do that for all eternity. Okay? There's a whole bunch of these kind of poems. Myths. So, don't fear man, Pylades says. Oh, you win me over. Good advice. This way, I want to butcher you right across his body. That is, let me get you positioned right, Clytemnestra. I want you kind of on top of him when I get ready to stab you. In life, you thought he dwarfed my father. Die. Go down with him forever. You love this man, the man you should have loved you hated. I gave you life. Let me grow old with you, she cries. What, kill my father, then you'd live with me? Destiny had a hand in that. She's kind of saying, I'm appealing to the same God you're appealing to. This too, destiny is handing you your death. You have no fear of a mother's curse? In other words, careful. Mother, you flung me to a life of pain. Never flung you, placed you in a comrade's house. I didn't literally throw you. Disgraced me, sold me, a freeborn father's son. Oh, then name the price. Name the price what? I took for you. I'm ashamed to mention it in public. Okay? He's talking about the killing of Agamemnon. She says, please, tell your father's failings too. That is, if we're going to be honest, let's be honest. Never judge him. He suffered. You sat here at home. You can't judge Agamemnon, Orestes says. He suffered. What is he saying he suffered for? Or in, or how? Okay, in the war, I think Orestes is implying he also suffered what? For the death of his daughter. Okay? I see murder in your eyes, my child. Mother's murder. You are the murderer, not I. You will kill yourself. That is, you brought on your own death by your own evil acts. Watch out. The hounds of a mother's curse will hunt you down. Yeah, but what about dad's? If I don't kill you, I have my father's curse. He's damned either way, right? I mean, he's rocking a hard place, catch 22, whatever phrase you want to use. I must be spilling live tears on a tomb of stone. Yes, the tomb of stone, my father's destiny. It decrees your death. You are the snake. She now remembers the dream. And he said, yep, that was the great seer, the terror in your dreams. You killed and it was outrage, suffer outrage. No, he stands her over the threshold, the door closes. And the leader. I even mourn the victim's double fates. But Orestes fought. He reached the summit of bloodshed here. We'd rather have it so. The bright eye of the halls must never die. And then, of course, goes on and on. Talk about Apollo willing it so. And Orestes comes out, says, behold the bodies. I'm going to skip a bunch. bottom of 702, the chorus. Oh, the dreadful work. Now, what had the chorus been doing half an hour previously? Yeah, egging him on, encouraging him to do this. Oh, the dreadful work. Death calls, she is gone. But for you, the survivor, suffering is just about to bloom. Okay? He's thinking, most of his suffering is gone. Orestes, did she do it or not? He hears, for you, suffering is just about to bloom, to mean, wait, are you telling me she didn't actually kill my father? And I then unrighteously killed her? Wait, come close. This shrouds my witness, died with Aeschylus' blade. Look, the blood ran here, conspired with time to blot the swirling dyes, the handsome old brocade. Now I can praise you, now I am here to mourn. You were my father's death, he's talking to the bodies. Great robe and the robe. I hail you, I embrace you. You, my victory, are my guilt, my curse, and still. Okay? He buries his face in Agamemnon's robes. Right? Chorus. No man can go through life and reach the end unharmed. Orestes is kind of suggesting, I've done what I needed to do. Now I can have peace. The chorus says, nope. If you're going to live, you're going to suffer. The Beowulf poet says essentially the same thing. If you're not taking 30-10, take my 30-10 next spring and you'll get more better enough than you want. Orestes, I see no end in sight. I am a charioteer, the reins are flying. Look, the mares plunge off the track. I killed my mother not with a little justice. But he still killed her. The magic spells that fired up my daring, one comes first, the seer of Delphi, who declared, go through with this and you go free of guilt. Fail, he says, I can't repeat the punishment. Now look on me, armed with the branch and wreath, a suppliant bound for the navel stone of earth, Apollo's sacred heights. I must escape this blood. What blood? He's got blood on his hands, literally. Okay? He says, I have to escape this. What does Lady Macbeth say? Out, vile spot. And she can't wash her hands clean. They are clean, but she keeps seeing it. Must turn toward his hearth. His who? Apollo's. In other words, he's going to run back to Apollo and say, see, I did it. I'm guiltless, right? Leader, you've done well. Don't burden yourself with bad omens. Lash yourself with guilt. You set us free. The torment bred in the race. The leader is saying, gone. Wiped clean. Okay? So he calls out to Apollo again. God Apollo, 10:57 or so. Here they come, thick and fast, their eyes dripping hate. He's seeing the Furies. You can't see them, I can. They drive me on, I must move on. And the chorus ends the play with, where will it sink to sleep and rest? This murderous hate, this fury. And we begin the Eumenides. What's the difference, to jump to the end of this play, what's the difference between the Furies and the Eumenides? These are destroyers. The Furies are. They seek after those who are guilty to destroy them. What about the Eumenides?
The opposite. They're kind.
Yeah, they are, for lack of a better word, blessers. They're benevolent. Okay? Are they different things? No. The Furies get transformed into the Eumenides. So that at the end of this play, we've seen the mythic transformation of these entities into these entities. Okay? And what has come also as a result of that? The idea of feud and revenge gets transformed into what? Law and justice. Rather than revenge crying out for the death of someone, what happens? You get a legal proceeding. You get a court of your peers. They determine who is guilty and who is innocent. Okay? So, time and scene. The Furies have pursued Orestes to the temple of Apollo at Delphi. It's morning. The priestess of the god appears at the great doors and offers up her prayer. Okay? And the priestess sees the Furies, and she sees Orestes. She falls to her feet, page 707, around line 33 or so. Terrors, terrors to tell, terrors all can see. They send me reeling back from Apollo's house. An old woman, gripped by fears, nothing, a child, nothing more. Okay. Gets back to her feet, keeps walking and talking, and we see Apollo come in. 68 or so. And Apollo says, actually, let me back up. 54. She talks about the Furies, says they have no wings, black they are, so repulsive, their heavy, rasping breathing makes me cringe, their eyes ooze a discharge, sickening, and what they wear to flaunt that at the gods, the idol sacrilege, even in the homes of men. The tribe that produced that brood I never saw, or a plot of ground to boast it nursed their kind without some tears, some pain for all its labor. Now for the outcome. This is his concern, that is, Apollo's. Apollo, the master of this house, the mighty power, healer, prophet, diviner of signs, he purges the halls of others, he must purge his own. She leaves, the doors of the temple are opened, and we see Apollo rising over Orestes. Orestes is kind of kneeling there at the altar. He's kneeling, and surrounding him are the Furies. And Apollo says, no, I will never fail you. Through to the end, your guardian standing by your side or worlds away. I will show no mercy to your enemies. Now look at these. And he points to the Furies. Okay. You that he's speaking to is Orestes. But Orestes is seemingly not awake. It's like he's dreaming, and Apollo is speaking to him in this dream. He's saying, don't worry about the Furies. I will protect you. Okay? These obscenities, I've caught them, beaten them down with sleep. They disgust me. These gray ancient children, never touched by God, man, or beast, the eternal virgins. Why does Apollo hate them? For one, they're older than he is. They're non-Olympians, but they're not really Titans either. They're like almost gods of chaos, okay? Out of which the world was made. That is, the world was made out of chaos. It's like they are, creatures of the night, so to speak. They're hidden, they're dark, they are irrational, whereas the Olympian gods are known, they're gods of light, they're gods of reason, to some extent. He says they're born for destruction only, the dark pit. That is, they're born to produce destruction only. They range the bowels of earth, the world of death, loathed by men and the gods who hold Olympus. So, never surrender, never brood on the labor. He's telling Orestes. Go to the citadel of Pallas. Where is that? The city that's named after her. Go to Athens. Okay? Kneel and embrace her ancient idol in your arms, and there, with judges of your case, with a magic spell, with words, we will devise the master stroke that sets you free from torment once for all. Make your way to Athens. He says, put your arms around her symbol there, and we, who's the we? Is he speaking the royal we? I think he's speaking we, Apollo, Athena, the gods, we'll figure it out. Okay? I persuaded you to take your mother's life. Orestes, Lord Apollo, you know the rules of justice, know them well. Now learn compassion too. No one doubts your power to do great things. Learn compassion too. That's Orestes saying, be compassionate to me. Remember that. No fear will overcome you. So he tells Hermes, guard him well. Protect him. Live up to your name, good escort. Okay? He's my suppliant. And Clytemnestra's ghost enters. As Orestes gets up and walks out with Hermes. How can you sleep? Furies are just, sawing logs around the stage. Awake, awake, what use are sleepers now? I go stripped of honor, thanks to you, alone among the dead. I wander in disgrace. Where does she wander? In Hades. And Agamemnon's down there now. Okay? And all the other Greeks are down there. She has no welcome. After all my libations, line 110, how you lapped the honey, the sober offerings poured to soothe you. Why did she have to pour libations to soothe them? Killing of Agamemnon, possibly? Or because of the death of Iphigenia, she says, awake, my furies, line 120, goddesses of the earth, a dream is calling. Clytemnestra calls you now. And they kind of mutter. We're going to skip a bunch. Okay? She leaves. The lead fury urges on the pack, wake up. So notice who the Furies are in this play. They're the chorus. See, normally in a Greek play, the chorus plays what role again? What do they do about the action of the play? They comment on it. So there will be action, and the chorus will come out, and the chorus will kind of interpret it for the audience. Sometimes they add to it. Okay? So, wake up. Kick off your stupor. And so they start talking back and forth. You child of Zeus, you common thief, etc., etc. Apollo then comes back out. He banishes them from his halls. They go back and forth quite a bit. And 198 or so, the leader says, you are no mere accomplice in this crime. You did it all. Says that to Apollo. All the guilt is yours. Apollo, no? How? Enlarge on that. And I always get the impression when I read this, Apollo's just kind of sitting there, filing his nails as he listens to the leader. Because what can the Furies do to the gods? Nothing. He's kind of, say that again? What was that? Commanded him to avenge his father? What of it? You dared embrace him? Fresh from blood? Yeah, I ordered him onto my house for purging. And we sped him on. That is, we encouraged him. We made him move fast. And you revile us? Yeah, you're not fit to approach this house. Why aren't they fit to approach this house? They can't be purged. See, they can't be cleansed of their guilt, let's say. And yet we have our mission and your authority, you, matricides. We drive them from their houses. And what of the wife who strikes her husband down? Well, that murder would not destroy one's flesh and blood. That is, a husband is not the same flesh and blood as the wife. Unless you're Oedipus, and we'll talk about that later. Okay? She says, we strike those who kill their own flesh and blood. That murder would not destroy one's flesh and blood. Apollo, you disgrace. Obliterate the bonds of Zeus and Hera, queen of brides. And the queen of love you throw to the winds at a word. Disgrace love, the source of mankind's nearest, dearest ties. Marriage of man and wife is fate itself, stronger than oaths, and justice guards its life. Now, if you'd had this speech, when some of you who responded to that question about, what's the significance of family in the Odyssey, this helps inform some of that, all right? So he goes on. If one destroys the other and you relent, no revenge, not a glance of anger, then I say your manhunt of Orestes is unjust. Some things stir your rage, I see. Others, nope. You don't care about those. Pallas will oversee this trial. She is one of us, meaning Olympian gods, whom the primitive, notice footnote tells you, whom the primitive furies oppose. All right? I will never let that man go free. Never. Go ahead, try, hound him then. Of course, great as you are, they say, throned on high with Zeus, but blood of the mother draws me on, must hunt the man for justice. The Furies are saying here, this is their reason for being. They can't do anything else. So the reason we're going to see them turn into this is because Athena is going to say, this doesn't work. So, you're still going to have purpose, only we're going to change it. We're going to alter it. Okay? Apollo, I will defend my suppliant and save him. Line 230. A terror to gods and men, the outcast's anger. Once I fail him, all of my own free will. He leaves, and we're suddenly where? At the Acropolis in Athens. Now, Aeschylus has just done something that Aristotle says you shouldn't do. We haven't talked about this at all. We'll talk about it a little bit when we discuss Aristotle. The three unities. Anybody know what they are? These are three kind of laws or rules that govern plagues. Okay? You had the unity of time, unity of place, and the unity of action. Unity of time generally meant the action of a place should occur within one 24-hour day. Okay? You'll see when we get to Oedipus, the king. All the action of Oedipus, one day. In these plays, it's been one day. Okay? Unity of place, it should all occur in one location. What has Aeschylus just done? We went from Delphi to Athens. Okay? Totally changed the location. Action, there should be one plot. Okay? Pretty clear in all of these, there's one plot. Right? Agamemnon, kill Agamemnon. The libation bearers, kill Clytemnestra. The Eumenides, justice for Orestes. Okay? So you do have one time, you do have one action. The only difference is you get this change of locations. This supposedly, okay, is supposed to hold true also during Renaissance drama. I mean, later, Neo-Augustan critics, Samuel Johnson, Dryden, those kinds of guys, 18th century writers, they hammered Shakespeare and others for not following the unities. I mean, Shakespeare, go see, if you haven't seen them, go see, Antony and Cleopatra, Thursday and Friday at Franklin Academy Park, or go see Winter's Tale, same place, Saturday or Sunday. Both plays. Shakespeare just obliterates these. Okay? The time, they occur over a period of weeks and or months. Winter's Tale, 16 years go by. In the middle of the play when a character named Time comes out and says, 16 years have just gone by. Okay. Place, Antony and Cleopatra, you're going from Rome to Athens to Alexandria, back to Rome, back to Alexandria, back. Okay. Winter's Tale, you're going from Bohemia to Sicilia, and even there, Bohemia has a shore. Bohemia is the modern Czech Republic. It is a landlocked place. There are no oceans. Okay? Action. Shakespeare is the master of what? Subplots. You got all these little plots going on. Okay? But in ancient Greek plays, generally these all hold true. I mean, you're going to see, and Aristotle takes Sophocles as the master, as the greatest tragedian. Why? Sophocles follows these all. I mean, perfectly. Right? And you will see that with both Oedipus and Antigone. So, we have Orestes at the Acropolis, escorted by Hermes. He comes, he kneels before the ancient shrine and idol of Athena. And he says, Queen Athena, under Apollo's orders, I have come. Receive me kindly, cursed and an outcast, no suppliant for purging. My hands are clean, my murderous edge is blunted now, worn down at last on the outland homesteads. Okay, so he's saying, receive me, because he's saying, I'm clean. I've been purged of the crime of killing my mother. How did he do that?
Saying I'm my father's son.
No,
At Apollo.
at Apollo's shrine. And Apollo purged him, cleansed him. So he's saying, I can come and I can touch your shrine because my hands aren't bloodied anymore. On and out over seas and dry frontiers, I kept alive the prophet's strong command, struggling toward your house, your idol. Goddess, here I keep my watch. I await the consummation of my trial. The conclusion, the finish. Okay? He's saying, he's going to hold on to this thing until justice is done. And the leader comes in. At last, the clear trail of the man. He's wounded. Go for the fawn, my hounds. In other words, we can smell the blood on him. So they go in, they see Orestes, and one by one they press around him. Notice they don't touch him, though. So you have Orestes holding on to this image of Athena, and the Furies just kind of circle around him. And each one speaks. There he is, clutching the knees of power once again, twined in the deathless goddess's idol. Look, he wants to go on trial for his crime. Never. That is never. We can't let him go on trial. The mother's blood that wets the ground, you can never bring it back. Dear God, the earth drinks, the running life is gone. No. And they go back and forth. Orestes holds on to the idol, and we're told remains impassive. What does impassive mean? We use it today to mean not moving, but it's not suffering. They don't get to him. I have suffered into truth. Well, I know the countless arts of purging, where to speak, where silence is the rule. In this ordeal, a compelling master urges me to speak. He looks at his hands. The blood sleeps. It is fading on my hands. Unlike Lady Macbeth, who always sees the blood of Duncan on her hands. Apollo killed the swine, and the purges drove it off. Mine is a long story. If I'd start with the many hosts I met, I lived with, and left them all unharmed, time refines all things that age with time. In other words, time does what? Heals all ills. Time refines. It purifies all things that age with time. The longer you live, the more refined you become. And now with pure reverent lips I call the queen of the land. Athena, help me. Come without your spear, without a banner, battle, you will win myself, my land, the Argive people. Athena, you help me, we'll be yours forever. Who has been hers? What other Greek have we read about? Who Athena always helps? Odysseus and his family. Okay? He is now saying, we will always follow Athena. Okay? Come, you can hear me from afar. You are God. Set me free from this. What's the this? The surrounding furies. Never. Neither Apollo's nor Athena's strength can save you. They're just, jabbering on. We're going to wear you down. Okay? And they say, 3:11, we are the just and upright, we maintain. Hold out your hands. Come on, Orestes, hold them out. He doesn't. He keeps holding on to the thing. Okay? If they are clean, no fury of ours will stalk you. You will go through life unscathed. Show us the guilty, one like this who hides his reeking hands, and up from the outraged dead we rise. Mother who bore me, oh dear mother Night. They're the offspring of Night, to avenge the blinded dead. Okay, they go on and on, which we're going to skip. Pick up with Athena finally comes in. And the chorus says, when Athena comes in, top of 720, where is the man not stirred with awe, not gripped by fear, to hear us tell the law that fate ordains? The gods concede the furies absolute till the end of time. And so it holds, our ancient power still holds. We are not without our pride, though beneath the earth our strict battalions form their lines, groping through the mist and sun-starved night. The mist and sun-starved night means, though we're not really conscious, okay, in humans' minds, they are this urging of the human spirit that says, get revenge. They're not like the gods of light. So Athena, from another world I heard a call for help. I was on the Scamander's banks just claiming Troy. Okay, footnote, Scamander is a river outside Troy. The Achaean warlords chose the hero's share of what their spirit won. They decreed that land, root and branch, all mine. And now she says, and I see some new companions on the land. She sees Orestes. She sees the Furies rounding him. Not fear, a new sense of wonder fills my eyes. She doesn't fear the Furies. Who are you? I address you all as one. You, the stranger seated at my idol, and you, like no one born of the sown seed. I mean, if you're the child of night, obviously no seed there. No goddess watched by the gods, no mortal either, not to judge by your look at least, your features. Wait, I call my neighbors into question. They've done nothing wrong. It offends the rights, it violates tradition. We are the everlasting children of the night. Deep in the halls of earth, they call us curses. Okay, now I know who you are, but not our powers. You don't know our powers. You'll learn them quickly. I can accept the facts, just tell them clearly. Destroyers of life. We drive them from their houses. We drive destroyers of life from their houses. We kill the living killers. Athena. In the murderer's flight, where does it all end? That is, that one kills that one. This one kills this one. Where does it stop? Where there is no joy, the word is never used. That is, under the earth. Such flight for him? You're going to shriek onto him about that? Yes, he murdered his mother, called that murder just. Nothing forced him on, no fear of someone's anger. What spur could force a man to kill his mother? two sides are here. I only hear half. Notice Athena, goddess of wisdom. I hear you. You want to say anything in your behalf? But the oath, he will neither take the oath nor give it. What oath? The ritual oath of innocence. Orestes refuses it because the fact itself of matricide is for him not the main issue. In other words, he admits that, right? He doesn't say, no, I didn't kill my mother. He admits it. I did kill her. He will neither take the oath nor give it. No, his will is set. And you're set on the name of justice rather than the act of justice. Notice, word rather than the deed. Okay, so you teach us. You have a genius for refinements. Injustice, I mean, should never triumph thanks to oaths. So, Athena is saying, you shouldn't fulfill an oath if doing so brings about injustice. Then examine him yourself. Judge him fairly. You turn over responsibility to me? Oh. So you're going to grant me what? By saying you're going to turn over responsibility, you're going to give me the power of judgment? To reach the final verdict? Certainly. We respect you. You show us respect. So, they now agree to be bound by her verdict. Your turn. She addresses Orestes. What do you say to this? Tell us your land, your birth, your fortunes. Then defend yourself against their charge. If trust in your rights has brought you here to guard my hearth and idol, a suppliant for purging like Ixion, sacred, speak. And he says, okay, the misgiving in your final words is strong. Let me remove it. I haven't come for purging. Look, not a stain on the hands that touch your idol. I have proof for all I say. The law condemns the man of the violent hand to silence, till a master trained at purging slits the throat of a young suckling victim. Blood absolves his blood. He says, that's been done for me. Where? At Apollo's shrine. For my birth? You want that? Okay. I'm from Argos. My father, well, you ask, was Agamemnon. Sea lord of the men of war. Your partisan. Notice what he's doing there. A little bit of sucking up. Your partisan when you made the city Troy the city of the dead. Said my black-hearted mother. She cut him down, enveloped him in her handsome net. It still attests his murder in the bath. But I came back after years of exile weathered, killed the one who bore me. I won't deny it. Killed her in revenge. Notice he doesn't even mince words there. He doesn't say, well, it was accidental. He just said, nope, killed her in revenge. I loved my father fiercely. Apollo shares the guilt. So, if you're going to find me guilty, what does she have to do? You got to find your half-brother also guilty. He spurred on. He warned of the pains I'd feel unless I acted. Brought the guilty down. Were we just or not? You tell me. Notice, were we, me and Apollo, acting together? You judge. My fate is in your hands. Stand or fall, I shall accept your verdict. Too large a matter, some may think, for mortal men to judge. But by all rights, not even I should decide a case of murder. Murder whets the passions. That is, murder demands vengeance. Above all, the rights have tamed your wildness. A suppliant cleansed, you bring my house no harm. If you are innocent, I'd adopt you for my city. That is, I want you to stay here rather than go back to Argos. She turns to the Furies. But they have destiny too, hard to dismiss. In other words, they've got a legal claim, you've got a legal claim. If they fail to win their day in court, how it will spread the venom of their pride. Plague everlasting blights our land. So it stands a crisis either way. How to decide? She looks back and forth. Embrace the one. I embrace Orestes. I expel the Furies. They get pissed. What's going to happen to the lands of Greece? They're going to be destroyed. I embrace this one. And Apollo is going to be angry. It defeats me. But since the matter comes to rest on us, I will appoint the judges of manslaughter, swear them in, and found a tribunal here for all time to come. Notice what she's just done. I'm going to establish what? Exactly. A trial by jury. A court. Okay? And what will that court do? What will one of its jurisdictions always be? To judge cases of murder. It's no longer going to be up to the gods or the Furies. Okay? What else has she done? She's passed the buck. I don't have to take responsibility for this now. How? Why? Because I'm going to appoint 10 men. They'll be the ones who will have to suffer whatever the consequences are. So she says to Orestes and the Furies, my contestants, summon your trusted witnesses and proofs, your defenders under oath to help your cause. Notice we get the structure, okay, clear from Aeschylus. This system had already been in place. So what's he doing? He's giving us the mythic beginning of an idea of a trial by jury in a court of law. All right? So what do you have? You've got witnesses for the defense. You've got witnesses for the prosecution. You have a defense. You have a prosecution. And I will pick the finest men of Athens, return and decide the issue fairly, bound to our oaths. She leaves and the Furies come out. Here now is the overthrow of every binding law. Once his appeal, his outrage wins the day, his matricide, one act links all mankind, hand to desperate hand in bloody license. One act links all humanity, the Furies say. Okay? Notice the footnote. In the following chorus, the Furies argue that the force they represent of vengeance and fear of punishment is the very foundation of social order. In other words, you don't kill somebody, why? Because they'll have somebody then come kill you. Okay? The Furies are saying that's the foundation of social order. You don't kill for fear of being killed. You don't steal for fear of being stolen from. You don't abuse for fear of being abused. You don't do anything wrong because of what? Fear of that thing being done to you. Okay? So their speech goes on and on. Page 725. We see Athena again. We're now at the Areopagus. It's still Athens, but it's a different location within Athens. She comes in, she calls for order, and we get Athena separating the Furies from Orestes. She directs him to the stone of outrage, the leader of the Furies to the stone of unmercifulness. And then Athena takes her stand between the two urns that will receive the ballots. In the Greek system, you had two large urns, guilty, not guilty. And the 10, when they come in, they have a pebble, and they drop a pebble in which one they determine is the right response. Apollo comes in, page 726. And notice the stage direction. He looms behind Orestes. He doesn't come and stand next to him. He comes in and, Orestes is like this tall, and Apollo comes in and he's just, standing up behind him. Probably to intimidate. Lord Apollo, rule it over your own sphere. In other words, this isn't any of your business. What part of you in this? He says, I come as a witness. This man, this suppliant, sought out my house and hearth. I'm the one who purged his bloody hands. I'm his champion, too. I share responsibility for his mother's execution. Bring on the trial. You know the rules. Now turn them into justice. So she gives, who gets the first right to speak in a trial? The prosecutor. The defense doesn't stand up and just say, I'm innocent, I rest my case. The prosecutor stands up and lays out the case against. Then the defense speaks. Yours is the first word. Prosecution starts. Open, start to finish, set the facts before us. And so the leader approaches Orestes. Answer, count for count. Charge for charge. Did you kill your mother? I killed her. There's no denying that. 3 falls in the match. That is, 3 strikes against you and you're guilty. Okay, you just admitted the first one. Orestes, you exult before your man is on his back. In other words, they're using a wrestling metaphor. He says, you think you've won and I'm not even pinned yet. But how did you kill her? You must tell us that. I will. I drew my sword and I cut her throat. Who persuaded you? Who led you? This god, Apollo's back there flexing, and his command. He bears me witness. The seer? The prophet? He drove you on to matricide? Yes, and to this hour I have no regrets. Well, you will if the verdict brings you down. I have my trust. My father will help me from the grave. Trust 2 corpses now. You made your mother one. In other words, Mom's going to cancel out Dad. I do. She had 2 counts against her deadly crimes. How so? Explain that. She killed her husband, and she killed my father. Okay? 2 counts. But murder set her free. And you live on for trial. That is, you murdered her, and that set her free of those 2 charges. Okay? She lived on. You never drove her into exile. That is, she killed her husband, she killed my father, and she lived on. Why didn't you drive her into exile? Blood of the man she killed was not her own. That is not our business. And I? Does mother's blood run in my veins? How could she breed you in her body, murderer? Disclaim your mother's blood? She gave you life. Orestes turns to Apollo. Bear me witness, show me the way. In other words, Apollo, give me something. How do I answer this? Just or not, decide. I must make my case to them. He looks to the judges and says, just. I say to you in your high court, Athena, seer that I am, I never lie. Not once from the prophets' thrones have I declared a word that bears on man, woman, or city that Zeus did not command. Notice what he's just done. He's passed the buck. Zeus tells me everything that I speak through the oracle. And I've never told a lie. Therefore, every truth I have told comes from Zeus. This, Orestes killing his mother, is his justice. Omnipotent, I warn you, bend to the will of Zeus. You don't want to go against God, do you? No oath can match the power of the Father, the leader. Zeus, you say, gave that command? He charged Orestes to avenge his father's death? Apollo, as you will hear, Athena and your people, poised to cast their lots and judge the case, home from the long campaign, he's talking about Agamemnon, he came, more won than lost on balance, came to her loyal, waiting arms, the welcome bath. He was just emerging at the edge, and there she pitched her tent. He was just emerging. He was coming out of the bath, and she pitched her tent, her circling shroud, that is the robe she was covering him in, to hide the sword. She shackled her men in robes. In her gorgeous, never-ending web, she chopped him down. Such was the outrage of his death, I tell you, the lord of the squadrons, that magnificent man. Her I draw to the life to lash your people, marshaled to reach a verdict. And the leader again says, and you say Zeus. Zeus, you say, sets more store by a father's death? He shackled his own father Kronos, proud with age. Doesn't that contradict you? That is, Zeus killed his own father, essentially. Mark it well. speaking to the judges, mere humans. What is the Fury suggesting? Now's your chance. You can now pass judgment on Zeus for doing to his father what you're suggesting she did to her husband, Apollo. You grotesque, loathsome. Okay, ad hominem attacks will get you how far? The gods detest you. Zeus can break chains. We've curses for that. What's he saying? Don't go dissing Zeus, man. You go against Zeus, and if Zeus can overthrow Kronos, he can stop this. Zeus can break chains. We've cures for that. Countless ingenious ways to set us free. But once the dust drinks down a man's blood, he is gone once for all. No rising back. No spell sung over the grave can bring him back. Not even Father can. Not even Zeus can bring the dead back to life, he's saying. But everything else he can overturn. In other words, he can turn gods into not gods. He can turn humans into gods. He can kill gods. So you'd force this man's acquittal? Behold justice. Because what ultimately is Apollo's claim? Zeus has what that nobody else has? He used the word omnipotence, which kind of implies that for Apollo, might makes right. It's not a matter of morality. It's a matter of who's got the most guns or the biggest guns. Zeus definitely's got the biggest guns. Okay. Leader. Call the kinsman holy water. Can the kinsman's holy water touch his hands? Apollo. The woman you call the mother of the child is not the parent. Just a nurse to the seed. The new sown seed that grows and swells inside her. The man is the source of life. The one who mounts. She, like a stranger for a stranger, keeps the shoot alive unless God hurts the roots. I give you proof that all I say is true. You need proof? Look at my dear sister. Look at Athena. Born without a mother. Child sprung full-blown from Olympian Zeus, never bred in the darkness of the womb, but such a stock no goddess could conceive. Okay, now, what is this designed to do to the Furies? All of whom are portrayed as what? Women, or female at least. But they're not really women because they're not human, right? What kind of, how does this impact the Furies? He's saying, wait, stop. You said we're what? We're mere receivers? We're not really mothers? Look at Athena, goddess of wisdom, born from the mind or the head of Zeus. Athena, have we heard enough? May I have them cast their lots? We've shot our arrows, every one, the leader says. I wait to hear how this ordeal will end. Of course, and what can I do to merit your respect, Athena says. Apollo, you've heard what you have heard. Cast your lots, my friends. Okay? So the judges cast their lot, and Athena says, we'll stop there. We'll pick up with what Athena says on Thursday. We'll also start, possibly do, Oedipus the King on Thursday, because it won't take us longer, 10 or 15 minutes to finish the Eumenides. If we have a quiz, see, I did not do one over the libation bearers. It'll be over both libation bearers and the Eumenides. And I'll have your exam.